This is the Voice of the Land podcast with your hosts, Kevin Arnold and Nick Paulus.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in to another episode of the Voice of the Land podcast. I am one of your hosts, Kevin Arnold, and alongside me, as always, my brother, Nick Paulus, and our producer extraordinaire, Peter Tellep. We are partnered with Web Streaming Studio by LPV and NEO Sports Network. And, of course, welcome all of our listeners all along the Cuyahoga Valley Radio.com network at 4 p.m. every single Saturday afternoon. Remember, you can always catch the podcast throughout the week on Google, Spotify, and Apple, and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Voice of the Land Podcast for all of the full show and special video clips that we cut up after we record the podcast each week. Remember, reach out to us on Twitter and Instagram at VTL_POD, at VTL_pod. We are on Facebook at Voice of the Land. You can follow Paulus at CLE_Paulus and myself at Kevin7. Peter, if they want to find you on social media, how can they do so?
Oh, geez, just look up LPV Productions. That's probably the easiest way to do it.
There we go.
LPV Productions on Facebook and all across the social media sites out there. You guys can follow there. We are here to talk sports and to give you a little entertainment throughout your week. We all know what's going on still in the world. We had our conversations last week.
The Corona episode
last week, and hopefully everybody is staying safe out there. Anybody that is dealing with it, of course, our thoughts, our prayers are with you as well, and with the whole nation, the whole world dealing with this crisis. Like I said, we are here to talk about sports in a socially distant studio here. We have our spacing, we have everything cleaned down.
That's right.
But we also want to try to make sure that we can still talk about sports with things going on in the world and take our minds and your minds off of what's going on, even if for a brief amount of time, what's going on in the world today. So today is our NFL free agency special, basically. We're going to dive into all the things going on with the Browns, and then a few storylines going on around the NFL, and then some other kind of fun little things to close out the podcast. Before we get into everything, though, Paulus, how are you doing, man?
Hanging in there. It's been a weird sort of week. Obviously, not being able to do much with ESPN or with my second part-time job there for us. Production has shut down there. So it is unfortunate, but we're going to make it through. Looking at a couple other job opportunities, maybe some under the table sort of things. We'll see what we can do, but right now it's just survive in advance and kind of go from there. Actually, I had my 1 year my yearly review, I guess is probably the best way to put it. And that went very well. Very happy about that. I like the direction that we're going in over there at ESPN Cleveland, and really exciting things coming up in the future. We'll get it all figured out. Hopefully, I pass some of the goals that I have in mind, and we're able to go from there. But other than that, it's been just a crazy weird sort of week.
Yeah.
How about with you?
It's been weird. I mean, I'm still going to work, and there was opportunities to kind of work from home, but you can only send so many people home because they got to order all of the equipment and everything to work from home. So hopefully the next the second wave, I kind of get to be a part of that. But everybody's kind of spread out. I'm working in cubicles, so it's kind of almost like a chess checkerboard. So you got one over here, and then 6 feet up, instead of having one across and one right in front.
Right.
You got one diagonal from you. And then, of course, just trying to keep everybody
in every other sort of
every other
sort of thing. Okay.
And now I know there are several people in my building that are part of the work from home crew that they selected this time. So everything's going to be even more spaced out, and just trying to keep everybody as safe as possible. And we'll see kind of what decisions get made. I know that New York has shut down.
San Francisco, it's
California as a state has shut down. So, those things still might be coming. We're still trying to work through all this, but we're here. Peter, I know you guys are at home with the kids, and How is it 1 week in after at least the week of spring break? How is it 1 week in of having everybody at home there?
It's been okay. I'm fortunate that my day job we can work from home. I do it. I've been able to do it throughout working there, so it's not too bad. It is different because before I worked for my current company, I worked from home for like 5 or 6 years.
Okay.
So I worked as a consultant for like General Electric, and I worked for a company based out of Dallas. But my kids went to a sitter, so it's like I was home, but I was home. It was me and the dog and the cat, right? So it was a lot easier to work from home. But right now, I have an office that's kind of separated out in the house, so it's not bad. It's workable.
Right.
My wife is going a little bit crazy because she works for the school district, so she's at home too with them. Fortunately, right now, she's still getting paid. We got to see. We don't know what the future is going to hold.
Right.
On the other hand, she also teaches for Southeastern Louisiana University, so she teaches online. So luckily, that continues to
You
go
have something
on.
going on there.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just kind of crazy. I think she wishes that I could help more, but she understands that I'm actually working during the day. But it's we'll manage. It's I know she's been sending me things for a bigger house because she probably wants some more space, to get away from me and the kids at times. So
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll make it work. So
Yeah. Everybody's just kind of trying to make it work right now, and those that are still working in the sports world is the NFL. And specifically here in Cleveland, we always talk about Cleveland sports. We try to bring a sense of reality to what is really going on to the Cleveland sports teams, and the one that's active, the main team. We are a football town. Of course, he's got his Baker Mania headband back on, trying to spread those Browns vibes, those good vibes here on the
good
podcast.
Ones, right? Yeah,
so
the very good vibes.
Yes, so those tuning in either on CuyahogaValleyRadio.com or to Google, just where you can't see us, you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel yet.
Do it,
because then you can look at Paulus sporting that great
baby. Baker Mania.
Yeah, although he does kind of mush up his cake and put milk.
We'll get to that.
Don't worry.
Don't you worry. We'll get to that.
We'll get to that. But so the Browns have been very active in free agency, which is almost, I don't want to say a shock, but kind of a little bit of a surprise from what people thought Andrew Berry was. People didn't know, with him at the helm, was he going to follow the Sashi Brown model, that analytics model of kind of getting rid of all of the older contracts, kind of focusing more on building assets for the future to add talent to this team. Moneyball,
yeah.
Right. And there is a sense of that, but he's been very aggressive in free agency, specifically on the offensive side. The first day of NFL tampering, where they were able to sign tight end Austin Hooper, who used to play for the Atlanta Falcons, Jack Conklin, an offensive tackle, who played for the Tennessee Titans, and the third one is escaping me at this time.
Case Keenum.
Case Keenum, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
backup quarterback.
Going to be a backup quarterback, or signed to be a backup quarterback to kind of push Baker, but also help him in his growth. Someone that can that understands this offense as well. Someone that was in Minnesota with Kevin Stefanski, who understands this and kind of can help the growing curve of Baker Mayfield. And so just initial thoughts, Paulus, on that first day of free agency, that focus on the offensive side of the ball, and we'll transition a little bit to the defense here in a little bit, but just their offensive approach, their free agents approach overall.
So far, what the Browns have been doing, it has been phenomenal. I will give the front office for the Browns an A+. As of right now, I mean, we're a week into free agency there for us. I'm going to give them an A+, because they attacked every position that I was hoping them to get. Now, I thought Hooper was a little bit out of our range. I know that there were a lot of smoke around Hooper, and the Browns are going to go after whatever. I didn't believe it. He's the first guy that they pick up, and they give him the biggest tight end contract of all time. 4 years, $44 million, $11 million a year. And you're thinking like, wow, that's, they gave him a lot, but it's not like you're giving a quarterback the highest, of all time, because you're looking at $100 million difference right there. Giving Austin Hooper the biggest contract for a tight end of all time sounds like a lot, but it really isn't whenever you take into account that Travis Kelce is about to get paid next year, and so is George Kittle. And those guys are going to blow away this contract. So it was actually the smart thing to do is to lock him up to something along the lines of, that $44 million. And then Jack Conklin, that's the one that set me over the moon, because I needed tackles. That's what we needed here for the Browns. We needed offensive linemen, especially that tackle spot. Now you move Chris Hubbard out of that starting tackle spot, and he would be a great sixth lineman.
Well, I know he can play guard too, I guess.
He can play everything.
Yeah.
He's the perfect, jack of all trades. And that's who you want as your sixth guy. They're just, the backup rotational player. He's perfect for that. Conklin, though, on the right side is great. I love getting Case Keenum, because you're not getting someone that's just going to sit there on the bench, like a Garrett Gilbert, that just sits there and he's happy to have a job. Case Keenum is going to be gunning for Baker. Now, I don't see it happening, obviously. Like Baker is way more talented. He knows the offense very well, and so does Keenum. Keenum, played in the same exact offense, a couple of years back, got the Vikings to the NFC Championship game. There's a lot of things going on with this team that I'm really liking. They're getting a lot of depth. Carl Joseph from the Oakland Raiders, the safety, we had no safeties. Other than Sheldrick Redwine heading into free agency, we had no safeties. So I'm very happy that we picked up him. We picked up another one.
Sendejo.
Sendejo, also from the Vikings. There's just so much good stuff going on right now. I'm back in. As a Browns fan, I am back in.
Just like that.
Just like
snap
that.
Snap of the fingers.
I'm telling you right now, if you pick up a left tackle at 10, I'm 100% back in. I believe that we're going to be going back to the playoffs.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a little dose of the voice of the land
and this,
medicine
I know
right now.
I'm going to need it. You got to give it to me. You got to give it to me, because right now I'm like, hey, we got this guy, we got that guy. We're shoring up our line. We still have $53 million. We still lead the league in cap room, which is unbelievable that we just paid off, all these different guys. We are doing a lot of 1-year deals, for Carl Joseph, prove it deals. But we locked up the 3 main people that I think that we needed. And then once again, if you get me that left tackle, at 10, I'm back in, Browns. I will be. I will be 110% back in if you get me that left tackle at 10.
I think you're already 110%. And you're gonna break the microphones over here.
I'm on my second bang today. I am jittery.
All right.
It is.
It is
on.
Too much.
It is so good.
Because
so good.
Just behind the curtain type stuff.
The lips.
We're the time we're recording. You shouldn't be on shouldn't be drinking that many bangs, that many energy drinks within that short amount of time. Come on.
People drink coffee all the time. There's no difference.
There's no difference in terms of not putting great things in your body, but it's a different kind of not so great stuff that you're putting in your body.
Fair enough. Touche, sir. Touche.
So a little dose of the Voice of the Land reality check for you, Paulus, and anybody else out there that has gone all the way back in from being so withdrawn from this team and all the way back in. I'm not saying I'm not a Browns fan or heavily invested and 100% into being a Browns fan, but in terms of just being being able to blindly trust this team and all excited. Oh my gosh, we're winning the off season again, guys. This is so great. We can get our t-shirts together and we can just win.
Get those AFC championship t-shirts ready,
baby.
Yeah,
those AFC off-season championships. Oh my goodness, we're going to go to the off-season Super Bowl, and if we get one more great player on this team, wow, we can really hoist that proverbial, that invisible Vince Lombardi trophy that he was just so great at coaching the offseason. No, the reason why it's named after Vince Lombardi is because of on-field success during the season. Great pickups by the team,
fantastic pickups.
was a little concerned the first day just focusing on the offensive side and what are you going to do on defense.
Right.
Now, the reality is with the contracts, the one-year contracts, that's bringing quality players in to start on this team or add depth to this team so that you can also look to the future. So when you have to, and of course as Paulus takes another drink of his bang there, I'm not going to let you get away with that.
I'm not going to lie. This Rainbow Unicorn,
yeah.
We were talking about sponsorships last week.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
right here. Oh, my God. It's so good. Once it touches the lips.
You with that bang right now and that Baker Mania headband is just a sight to behold. So anybody that's getting to watch this on YouTube, you're getting a treat. And if you're not,
absolutely,
go subscribe right now because this is a treat to watch. It's
absolutely
one heck of a scene. But back to the Browns. I get the one-year contracts trying to bring quality guys in, kind of a show-me type contract for some of these guys, but also save that money so that they're not locked up and you have money available when you need to sign Myles Garrett, when you need to sign Baker Mayfield if he proves it, kind of gets back to proving that he is the guy this year. But you're putting a Band-Aid on an issue on the defensive side of the ball.
You are.
So you're focusing, you're putting a lot of credibility or guys that are going to be here for a while on the offensive side. What are we doing on defense? Are you focusing on younger players in the draft? Or what is that exact plan with Joe Woods, the defensive coordinator now? What are those thoughts there? And I mean, I know that you want to kind of jump in here.
Right. Well, I think that is the plan. That they're going to go heavy and they're going to get that left tackle at 10 and then they're going to go heavy on defense, which is probably the right thing to do because you want to stock up on the really young guys, defensively, get them adjusted to your game plan and then kind of go from there. That all being said, I love the way that they're doing this because they are setting themselves up, for a great future as well. Because not only did you lock up, mainstays, once again, Hooper is a fantastic get. He's going to be streaming right down the field. You just look at the seam route, Baker right there, great end zone target along with Njoku because they are planning on keeping 2 tight ends for that. Then you have Jack Conklin, once again, the right tackle, which is a fantastic spot that you need to have. You also need that left tackle. So you shore up that. You then shore up your entire offensive line, and that's what we're looking for. Who won the Super Bowl?
Kansas City Chiefs.
How'd they win it?
I mean, they won it with offense.
They won it with offense. Now, I'm not saying Baker is Patrick Mahomes. I'm not saying that. But look at the people that he has on that team, Patrick has, and then compare it to what we have here at the Browns. I mean, we can go right down the list. Who would you rather have? Would you rather have Odell? Would you rather have Jarvis? Would you rather have, and compare it to them? I like our targets more than I like Kansas City's. Now, it's Patrick Mahomes that tips the scale.
Yes.
Obviously. But it's not to say, I know I'm wearing the Baker Mania headband.
Yes.
I know that. He has everything to prove to me because I believe that this is a make or break it year for Baker.
And the Browns are saying that message to him.
It absolutely. And that's what I wanted. I wanted the Browns to set Baker up as best as they can and then just say, Baker, this is on you. If you do great, we're going to do great. We're going to win. We're going to go to the playoffs. We'll see what happens then. But if you struggle like you did and you throw another 20 interceptions, we're going to have some issues. And we'll find your replacement. Case Keenum might be that stopgap Band-Aid because we signed him to a 3-year deal. 3-year, I believe, $18 million deal, which is cheap for a backup quarterback nowadays. And fantastic get because he, once again, knows the offense.
Right.
And he's going to push Baker, and that's what Baker needs. Baker has always had that guy behind him to push him. Whenever he was at Texas Tech, who'd he have? Patrick Mahomes. Whenever he was at Oklahoma, who'd he have? Kyler Murray. Now he gets into the league, and he has Drew Stanton, and he has Garrett Gilbert. Come on. Like, he needs somebody to push him to get him in the right direction. I think that this is setting up for Baker to have an amazingly great year. But once again, he has to prove it. And he's been staying out of the spotlight for a while now.
Right.
Which is something that you and I both have talked about and we love.
Yeah, the only thing we've seen is him and his wife have donated $50,000 to the
Great
Cleveland
job,
Food Bank.
by the way.
And a lot of athletes around here. I know Larry Nance Jr. has donated to the Akron and Cleveland Food Banks.
Larry Ogunjobi actually donated 100,000 meals, which is unbelievable.
Right, and Baker and his wife, it was $50,000, and then they're going to match every donation as well. So it's $50,000 plus every other donation that people send into the Cleveland Food Bank. So a lot of athletes, local athletes, doing a lot of, even across the country, athletes in each area doing a lot of good things for those in need, kind of putting that money, because we're in a time right now where we're talking about NFL free agency and how much money these guys are getting. Hooper getting the $44 million, and there's people that are not able to work right now, and and they're able to.
You're looking at one.
I know, and still able to kind of get money in a certain way, but we're kind of using people getting paid handsomely as a distraction to a situation where people are sick, people are not able to work, people are at home a lot, and so it's kind of a should
it's
the NFL,
weird.
It's weird. Should the NFL
weird.
have done it? Should they have backed it up? But at this time, it's kind of something that we do need to look at and kind of have that distraction. However, if we're going to look at it as sports fans and as sports media members, the Browns still have to show, and they're showing Baker, this is your team. We are giving you the tools. We are giving you elements of the chip. You're already having the national media, local media, downplaying everything that you built in season 1 and how bad you played in season 2. The chip is there. We've now given you all the tools. We've given you a backup quarterback that has been a quality NFL starter and knows this offense and can be a good stopgap here, who is going to help you, but is also going to push you. So you have all the elements you've ever had when you were in college, when you were in that walk-on. You have the chip, you have the athletes, you have the skill group guys. We're building an offensive line, still putting that together. Now it's your time to go out and do it. But this team also needs to go out and show that they can do it before I'm like over the moon, excited. And that's the reality. Is I see all these people that. And I love how people can kind of break down each player. They're putting film on Twitter, on Instagram, and breaking down how these guys are going to fit into this scheme based on what Kevin Stefanski has done in the past. Love seeing all that, but getting overly wrapped up into it, like, oh my gosh, I love these moves. The Browns are now like setting up, and they're off-season champions. Let's get our T-shirts. Let's get our our quarantined parades going on within each of our own homes. But we can't do that. We still have to, Andrew Berry is doing his job. What he's out to do. He is doing his job. Again, Band-Aid on defense, what that's going to look like, there's still a lot of question marks there.
We still have the draft.
Right.
And in free agency, we are saying that, we're 6 days into it.
Right.
It's not like we've gone the entire free agency and we've locked up Carl Joseph and, Goodson from the Packers. It's not like those are the only options that we've had or that we've done. There's still a lot of people out there, but I'm not expecting to go after like Jadeveon Clowney, who wants $20 million.
Right.
Which is...
Everson Griffith, though,
it's a lot of money. He's an older player.
Right.
He is an older player. Great, fantastic player, and we very well could get him.
Yeah. And who knows what they're doing with Olivier Vernon right now on the other side.
True.
There's still question marks on if they're going to release him or they're going to keep him on for another year.
If you get rid of Olivier Vernon, I fully expect you to go and get an Everson Griffith. Yeah. 100%, I expect you to go and make that move. But if you want to hold on to Olivier, I'm not going to tell you how to spend your money, Browns.
No.
But I'm telling you right now, like, if you get rid of someone of that sort of talent, because he is that talent. He hasn't proved it to us as Browns fans as of yet. He was in and out of the lineup consistently last year. And, he had a couple of good games, going up against, with Miles on the other side. But as soon as Miles is out, he was a shadow. He was nowhere. I think that there's a lot of things that you're absolutely right. They have the Band-Aid idea going on right now, but we can't fully judge this offseason until the draft is over.
Right. So people
going from there. I'm excited because I wasn't expecting. I know that Andrew Berry did say that they were planning on being aggressive and going out, and I didn't believe it because it was a Sashi Brown. Right, scout-driven.
With analytics kind of fueling it not being analytics-driven with some scout NFL-type elements added on there. So it looks like there is an NFL mentality in the decisions that they're making, and they're also looking at the analytics, the information, the data that is available to them on how these guys can fit into the system of what they're trying to do in this aligned mentality. It's just, for me, I'm not going to go over the moon for anything. Even if you get an Everson Griffith, or let's say you were to go big and go for Jadeveon Clowney. You need someone like that, or if it's going to be Olivier Vernon, who's going to have to be able to show that talent and stay on the field, because you also have a talent that you're trying to focus on the offensive side. That is Baker Mayfield, giving him all the tools. Your leader on defense, your main guy, is Myles Garrett, who is reinstated, going to be here for this team, and is a mainstay and one of those pass rushers that you need. But you need someone that invokes fear on the other side so that Myles Garrett isn't getting chipped, getting double-teamed, getting all of the focus, because we saw with him when he was the only guy, it was very difficult to get to the quarterback, as talented as he is, as strong as he is, because the focus only had to be on him. Last year with only Olivier Vernon, and then when Myles Garrett went out, there wasn't much of the ability for the defense to invoke fear.
Well, it's because we didn't have depth. And the people that we are picking up right now, the one-year deals, they are depth sort of players. And that definitely helps us out, because and you're absolutely right. The moment Myles went out, the defense changed. And I'm not saying that we were a top 10 defense, we were a middle-of-the-road defense, but then we went all the way to the end. I mean, we gave up 100 points in the last 3 weeks. Sheldon Richardson is going to be one of those guys that benefits from this, because he had to switch to the defensive end mark, at the end of the year. And he actually ended up, with a couple of sacks, towards the end, which seems great. But, if the defense is giving up 33 points a week, and you get a couple of sacks, great. What sort of big deal did you make? I'm really looking forward to seeing what they bring in this draft class, because there's a couple of people out there that, in the later rounds, that could benefit us very much. I just need to get that, once again, I need to get that left tackle at 10, lock up that offense, because, once again, the offense is what runs the NFL right now.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm concerned with. I know that you're worried about a Band-Aid defense, but if you lock up my offense, and once again, we're predicting and hoping everyone stays healthy.
Yeah.
We'll kind of see how this all goes from there.
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily that I want some old school team that's just built on defense and doing just enough on offense.
Right.
This offense is set up to do big things.
Amazingly huge things.
But having just a Band-Aid defense, you saw the Kansas City Chiefs a couple years ago when Patrick Mahomes was starting to take over what they could have been, and they had nothing on defense. They had just enough. They had enough quality guys and enough of a quality scheme to win that Super Bowl, because their offense was so dynamic, was so high-powered, with Patrick Mahomes as the leader. But putting a Band-Aid together, that puts a lot more question marks on, are you able to do that just enough? And people, you guys, all the Browns fans out there, or anybody that's analyzing the offseason, I'm talking to you right now. You can call me a negative Nelly if you want. I don't care. The reality is, you can't go over the moon. I can give all the credit in the world to Andrew Berry, and I will. I am saying that right now. I am giving credit for learning on the job, learning that the analytics cannot be the only thing, learning that you have to be scout-driven, you have to add talent to this team through free agency, and now do what you can with the limited resources they're going to have, unfortunately, in the scouting process to draft quality guys and continue to add depth to this team. But I'm not going to go over the moon like I have in the past. I'm not making that mistake again until this team as a whole shows that on the field, all of the offseason moves that you make translate into on-field success. There are no T-shirts that can be worn. There are no championships that can be won at this time of the year. You can lose championships at this time of the year.
100%.
But you cannot win them. You have to use this fuel and generate it into the season and have on-field success. You don't have to go 16-0 either, or in the future 17-0. You don't have to do that, but you better be consistent enough with a defense that was middle of the road that could have been top 10 with Myles Garrett still out there, with an offense that should have been in the upper echelon of the team of the NFL. Those types of things now need to start to show when this season kicks off, hopefully in September.
Now, you did say that you can't win a championship in the offseason, but you can definitely lose one.
Yes.
That is the Tom Brady Patriots mold right there.
Yeah.
Tom Brady leaving the Patriots to go to Tampa Bay, which sounds so weird whenever you say it out loud. I've seen it on Twitter. I've seen the pictures. I've seen the
Photoshop.
the Photoshop, Madden, lookalikes and stuff, and it looks so damn weird. And I'm sure this is the same sort of feeling that people had whenever Joe Montana, ended up going to Kansas City, and just see that different style red, with Kansas City from San Francisco. I guarantee you, it's one of those molds where Bill Belichick wants to prove that he is the greatest, coach of all time. I think he is, no matter what.
Right.
But he wants to prove that he's smarter than everybody else. That can come back to bite you if you don't have the proper players in place. And think about that offense without Tom Brady on the field. Who do you have? Jared Stidham? I mean, Auburn, I believe the Auburn quarterback, 4th round pickup from last year. You have that guy, and that's, I believe, Cody Kessler, who we know from our time here. Those are your two quarterbacks going into a season. The most important position in sports is quarterback. And if you are an elite quarterback, which Tom Brady is now, is he 42, 43 years old, and he's a little bit behind? Agreed.
Right.
But in the right system, he's going to be really good. He's going to a Tampa Bay team who has Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Ronald Jones, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. I mean, if you beef up that offensive line, which is what we're talking about right now here in Cleveland, sky's the limit. That young defense down there is really good too.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you pair him up. They went 7-9 with Jameis throwing 30 interceptions last year. You cut down on that because Tom's going to try and throw it into some windows that aren't there.
Yeah.
Cut it down to 12 to 14 interceptions next year, 25 to 27 touchdowns. Jameis had 33 last year. Figure that out. You're looking at a 10-6, 11-5 team. You're looking at a team that can win the South. The NFC South, maybe win the NFC. With the right coaching, everything like that. I like Bruce Arians as a coach as well. If something is going on down there and bad stuff happens, he's the type of guy that just it rolls off his back. He's like, I don't care. I'm focused on next week.
Rolls off the Kangol.
That's right. I love that look, by the way. He looks great with the Kangol hat. But he just lets it roll off. He's Bill Belichick but funnier. Bill's like, we're on to Cincinnati. You have that, and then he's just like, we sucked. What do you want me to say? Hey, is Jameis Winston going to be your quarterback next year? I don't know. Maybe not. He's that type of guy. Now that they have Tom Brady down there, they can definitely win the South. I really thought that Todd Gurley, another person that got cut, which was how surprised were you whenever you heard Todd Gurley got cut?
I actually wasn't as surprised as other people because it seemed like there was just something not right. There just was a disconnect between the Los Angeles Rams and him.
Do you think that was health-based? Because I do.
I think it started health-based, and there was some sort of disconnect in how maybe he wanted to have it approached or what he thought he could be able to play, and doctors telling him not to. There just seemed something starting to disconnect from the time he got hurt and not able to kind of explode with those knee issues that he had.
Yeah.
Just something then on the back end from the behind the scenes, and maybe we'll get a story that leaks out. Seems like the Browns are the only ones that, when the season ends, it's like, oh, well, this is why this happened. This is why that happened. Oh, well, Baker had this issue with this person.
Freddie Kitchens
was
the worst prepared coach of all time.
We had like the first 15 plays, and after that, there was no game plan actually to adjust. We never adjusted and get those types of things. It seems only comes out about the Browns.
Freddie Kitchens.
Yeah. Why is he?
Damn you! I would put
yeah.
so much faith in you. Damn you!
Yeah, we gotta move on from that though. But for Todd Gurley, I mean, maybe there will be something that comes out because to me, it didn't seem right. Towards the end of that run, and then you started to hear the rumors that he could be cut, and he ends up getting cut, and then going back to.
I did like the fact that he took it on social media very well.
Yeah.
You know, he wasn't like, "Oh my God, I'm so surprised! I can't believe this happened." You know, he quoted Friday. He was like, "Man, I can't believe I got fired on my day off."
Yeah.
Like that was awesome,
Yeah.
and I'm happy that he saw it that way. He's like, "It's an NFL business. It's what happens." And then literally the next day, he goes to his hometown team. You know, the Atlanta Falcons. I really thought that he should have went to Tampa. And I think a lot of people thought that as well because Tampa just seems to be that like super team that's like lying in the weeds right now. Now that they got Tom Brady,
yeah, guys reaching out that they want to play with Tom Brady, try to get over there.
Edelman's trying to figure out a way to get down there because what are they missing? They're missing a slot receiver, and Tom's actually been saying apparently Tom wants AB down there. Could you imagine a wide receiver lineup with Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Mike Evans?
Right.
That would be the craziest wide receiver lineup of all time.
Yeah, and if there was a quarterback that could handle
that situation,
spreading the ball around,
yeah,
that would be Tom Brady, and someone that has the credibility and is able to get guys to rally around him. But you're right. In Tampa Bay, if they're going to want to have that 10-6, 11-5 season, they're going to need a better offensive line because Jameis is still athletic. And even though he got sacked 30 times, and maybe he didn't have 20/20 vision because he did have that corrected in the offseason.
Right, yeah.
He couldn't see the guys coming at him or where he was throwing the ball, but he's still athletic enough to try to evade. Tom Brady's just going to stand right there in that pocket.
Right.
He's going to 3-step drop, 5-step drop. Even if it's a 7-step drop, it's going to be within that pocket. If he throws the ball and there's nobody around, it's going to be intentional grounding because he's not running anywhere.
Right. He's not trying to take those sacks. He's not trying to do anything like that. He's going to throw the ball away.
Yeah, or he's just going to
tuck it.
Just tuck it in and just drop to the ground, just kind of like give his body up, and then allow somebody to get those touch sacks, those pad the stat type sacks out there on the football field.
Right.
I mean, it's going to be interesting though with the New Orleans Saints as well in the South. I mean, like that's trying to see.
Emmanuel Sanders just signed there last night, a 2-year deal.
Yeah, and that's another weapon for Drew Brees. So you got Brees versus Brady now twice a year, and the guys that right now are kind of going, of course, Brady being the greatest of all time, but Brees kind of in that conversation.
That's going to be so much fun to watch those
one of the best
games.
Yeah, those 2 games now, instead of just like, like every 4 years you get that matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Now you get it like every 4th week.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. I think they also play the Packers, so him versus Aaron Rodgers as well is going to be a great little matchup. Obviously him versus Matt Ryan again, for a couple of times as well down there. One off-season move that put you like a wow sort of move. What was it for you?
I mean, I guess the wow is Brady.
Sure.
There was a feeling that he wasn't going to be back in New England. It kind of had that Bernie Kosar and Bill Belichick kind of relationship where you kind of let Kosar go.
Yeah.
Or basically cut him and let him. This time, just letting Brady go and Brady kind of making that decision. It was time to go, and Belichick now trying to prove, well, all of this that I've developed, I've got a plan in place where New England's not going anywhere. In Buffalo, you can crush as many tables as you want, and you can have.
So is Jared Stidham the Vinny Testaverde? Is that who we're comparing him to now?
Apparently,
okay.
I think Bill is maybe a little in over his head right now.
Okay.
Thinking that. I think in his head right now he's thinking New England's still a force to be reckoned with, and he has some sort of plan he's going to try to put in place to have them still be at the top of the AFC East. I don't see it.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I meant to hear about the Buffalo Bills and all of that going on. Word to the Bills fans before you go crushing tables and really getting into your Bills Mafia stuff. A little reality check for you. Josh Allen, he's quality quarterback, but he's going to need to make a big jump from season 2 to season 3, just like Baker's going to have to make a bigger jump. Because
I was going to say Josh Allen made a bigger jump than Baker did.
Yes.
Obviously.
Right.
Hands down.
Right, but they relied heavily on that defense.
Yes.
And
yeah, they did.
Browns beat them, and it was a low-scoring game. So the offense wasn't always able to kind of get it going. Those intermediate throws, you have Stephon Diggs. Now, I think maybe a trade that was very surprising to me. I knew he wasn't going to be there, but where he went, Stephon Diggs from the Vikings
to Buffalo
to the Bills, they're also setting up Josh Allen, their quarterback, and sending a message to him like, yes, you made a big jump, but you're going to need to make a bigger jump if you're going to compete in this style of NFL where you got Patrick Mahomes out there, and we have the defense that is much stronger to take this division and possibly take the AFC.
I think, and I like your Stephon Diggs, sort of throw in there. I think Stephon Diggs is going to see that it's much harder to deal with a quarterback that doesn't have the accuracy that one would want to have throwing them the ball.
Right.
And going from the number 2 wide receiver to the number 1 wide receiver in Buffalo, where the winds swirl like nobody's business, it's going to be tough. It's going to be a tough go for Stephon. Hopefully everything turns out well for him and they win the division. That'd be great. I like Buffalo fans. I think that they are Cleveland East. I mean, whenever the Browns left, a lot of people became Buffalo Bills fans. I'm okay with that.
I'm not. It was annoying that people were like buying up and wearing Bills gear after. I mean, I need to see on-field success from the Browns.
Sure.
But I'm not putting my gear in the closet.
No.
I'm still wearing it.
No.
I'm still a fan.
I'm saying whenever the Browns left. Like a lot of people became because they didn't want to be Baltimore fans. And, I mean, you didn't want to transfer to that crap city. Right. So you want to go and be.
I understand what you're saying.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like whenever anything like that. But yeah, the Stephon Diggs trade, the biggest trade though, obviously was Hop.
Yes.
Denard Hopkins, DeAndre Hopkins going to.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, right, because it happened so early.
Yeah.
On in the process. Hop going to Arizona because of a dispute with Bill O'Brien, the coach. You heard what he said to him in a meeting, right?
Right, but you also heard that Hop downplayed that and said that he still respects Bill O'Brien and didn't see that as an issue in that conversation.
Right, and once again, we're talking about the conversation that he had whenever Bill O'Brien said the last time that I had to have a conversation like this was with Aaron Hernandez, which is. Oh my God! I can't believe you just said that, Bill O'Brien.
Right.
Downplaying it, everything like that. The fact that you only got like a 2nd-round pick in David Johnson. Yeah. I mean, a banged up David Johnson for Hop, who's probably a top three wide receiver for sure.
Yeah.
Top 5 for sure. Top 3 right there.
You're not getting that deal in fantasy. You're giving up a lot in fantasy for Hop.
It is unbelievable. And the fact that Stephon Diggs got more. They got a 1st-round pick for Stephon Diggs, which you would think that you'd have to give up at least 2 for Hopkins, or at least a 1 and like maybe a 2 or a 3. I mean, you'd have to get a lot for him. I mean, we basically got Odell for the 17th pick is what we're looking at. You kind of figure that's what Hop should have gone for, if not more. Probably more, because he's honestly the better player. If we're just going to be straight up honest. Right. Hop is a better player than Odell. You would think that you'd get more. Bill O'Brien is the worst GM of all time. If I was Deshaun Watson, I would walk into that room and just be like, dude, you got to trade me. I refuse to play with you because you are going to get me killed. You just lost your safety net. You got David Johnson now. Nothing. That offensive line is still trash.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Will Fuller is your number 1 wide receiver. He can barely stay on the field.
Yeah. He's always injured.
No. If I'm Deshaun Watson, I am requesting a trade immediately. And then wherever you go would be better, other than maybe like Washington. But anywhere else is a better option for you.
He's going to be running all over the place. He's going to be getting
He's going to get killed.
He's going to get crushed out there, and you're not going to get to see the Deshaun Watson that is so
They're just
dynamic.
trading away picks like it's nothing. They're just like, whatever, I don't care.
Bill O'Brien is trying to be too much like Bill Belichick from that tree without any of the intellect.
Yep.
It is like the
without any of the intellect.
He's way over his head Belichick is, but at least Belichick has the intellect to bring it back down and
what
actually.
What has Bill O'Brien ever done other than get to the wild card games?
So why is he in over his head? Nobody knows. There's nothing up there. I don't
know.
know.
Nothing up there. Yeah.
I just don't understand what they're doing with that. And just wrapping this up with even like the Stephon Diggs thing. I think Josh Allen. I don't want to like crush the guy or anything.
Right.
I didn't really necessarily want him here because of just being able to throw the deep ball and not. You saw even his own personal workout where those intermediate throws just weren't there. Made a big step from season 1 to season 2. He's gonna have to make an even bigger step though because of how far he had to come to be a full-on NFL quarterback. He's gonna have to make a bigger step now with all the tools there in Buffalo as well. He's going to have to make a bigger step. I think he's capable.
Sure.
He's definitely capable of doing that.
Well, the Patriots dynasty is over. So, it's
it's
wide open in that division.
It's there for the taking. Josh Allen takes that bigger step, or else you're going to see Stephon Diggs taking those deeper out routes or intermediate out routes that you saw with the Minnesota Miracle, and instead of being able to catch it, turn upfield, and score some miraculous touchdown,
out of bounds.
It's going to be...
Once again, in that swirling wind out there. Yeah.
Where? Josh, I'm over here, buddy. I'm over here.
15 yards out, and the wide receivers coach catches it.
Yeah.
That's not what you want.
No.
That's not what you want.
Definitely not what you want there. So there's a lot still to go on with the NFL. I mean, you're only 6 days in. There's still some big names out there, so we'll kind of keep our eye on what's going on with that. Browns, maybe they'll add another piece or two, maybe some one-year deals just to kind of add some depth. Of course, we will keep our eyes on that. We will keep you in tuned all week long. Everything that's been going on with all the craziness going on in the world as well. I know that we, have been doing some videos in the past. We're going to try to get back to that this week.
Yeah.
We're all trying to figure things out right now in the world. So we're going to kind of try to help people kind of have those moments of distraction throughout the week. So we'll get back to our video, like posting more videos from YouTube, as well as kind of Paulus giving you the update during the week. Following up myself, kind of giving a preview or any sort of poll that we can for an interactive type Friday leading into our sessions on Saturdays, and those that are listening at 4 p.m. on CuyahogaValleyRadio.com, or if you're listening to the podcast anywhere else on YouTube, we'll get all that going for you during the week. Something else that's kind of been distracting out there on social media, sports-wise, because we don't have March Madness. And today would have been, round 3, I think you would consider it. Would start around 3.
Round 2, I believe.
No,
No,
you're
right.
Because you got like the first 4.
You got the 0 or whatever.
Yeah, those first 4, and then they considered the full like round of 64, the second round now, and that's kind of how all that works. There's other brackets out there, and I know that you were big into the one with the SportsCenter anchors.
Yeah.
There's ones with Fastfood. We'll pull a couple of these up, kind of just have some quick conversations on this. I know that my girlfriend Janet and I, we did the Fastfood one.
Okay.
And we did the Disney movies, and we just recently, because she's caught up on for the most part, almost all of The Office. She's like middle of the way through season 8, which is that first season without Michael Scott.
Right, Robert California.
Yeah, Robert California. So she's like seeing the same thing that all other Office fans are.
Right.
There's like moments of funny, but it's not the same without Michael Scott. So
hit or miss.
She keeps asking. She's like, "Does Michael Scott come back? Does Michael Scott come back?" It's like, just watch the show.
Give it a watch.
Just get through the show. I know season 8 and even season 9, you'll have your rough spots. You don't want to keep watching.
Season 9, it's rough. Season 9, but
yeah.
It's a great finale.
Yes,
that's how we'll do that.
Yes, definitely a great finale there. So we at least went through that because she knew enough of those episodes, and I was like, some of the season 8, season 9 ones that they picked besides the finale, they really don't compare to some of the other seasons. Anyway. So it's like an easy pick to kind of go with anything season 2 to season 7. Yeah, season 1 is like nothing.
Season 1, 6 episodes. It's still, hilarious. You got Diversity Day. You got a couple other ones in there. Obviously, the pilot's a great one.
But season 2 is really where
it's where everyone starts off, basically.
So if anybody out there hasn't watched The Office and you've always kind of thought about it,
If you haven't watched The Office, what are you doing with your life? First off, let's be honest there. Like
my wife started watching it again, and she's
like,
like, oh my god, I can't.
Right.
I forgot how cringeworthy Michael Scott is.
Some of them, oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah, in today's day and age, it's a little cringeworthy, but it's still really
so
funny.
Good.
But if you're starting it for the first time, just get through the first 6 episodes. Once you get to season 2, like
you're locked in.
First, you're fully locked in. Now, which one did you pull up?
The one that I got pulled up, and now I only have like the top 8 seeds and stuff like that pulled up, but I have the Sports Center. Greatest Sports Center anchors of all time.
Okay.
This is from Barrett Media. You can go on Twitter. I'm sure Facebook has it as well. It is a phenomenal list. I have actually my Elite 8, Final 4, and then who I have winning. Elite 8, I have Dan Patrick versus Kenny Mayne.
Okay.
Great anchors right there. In that same bottom bracket, I have John Anderson. Now, that's the Keith Olbermann bracket, which Keith is, the number 1 in that region. But I think John Anderson is just, he's been there forever.
Yeah.
He's fantastic. I love John Anderson. Chris Berman is the number 2. You got to have Berm. You gotta absolutely have him. Other side of the bracket, you got Scott Van Pelt, which obviously does the Tonight of it, and Linda Cohn, who's been there doing it forever. Great, phenomenal anchor as well. And then obviously the late great Stuart Scott.
Yeah.
And Rich Eisen is the number 2 in that region. Which Eisen, I mean, come on, he's awesome. Final 4, I have Patrick versus Berman.
Okay.
And I have SVP versus Stuart Scott. And then I have Dan Patrick and Stuart Scott in the final. Stuart winning it all.
Right. Cooler than the other side of the pillow.
That's right. Booyah! He's fantastic. I mean, he's the greatest anchor of all time. Whenever he passed away, and it's been like 5 years now. Whenever he passed away, like a part of me died as well, because he was just such a great person and anchor. I mean, everything that he touched was gold. And whenever he passed away from cancer, I think a little bit of everybody, felt that as well.
Yeah. I haven't had a chance to go through that one yet, so I'm definitely going to be doing that here just to kind of get a little bit of the bracket itch out.
Right, yeah. You have to. Right now, yeah.
I know that one that I did was the Ultimate Fast Food and Fast Casual Restaurant bracket. You have the McDonald region. You got No Sundays region. I don't want to go with the full name of that first region because it's a little much. Bag Fries region and Dave Thomas region.
Okay.
A couple of the ones that I found on here, and I think my ultimate champion was actually a 14 seed on here.
Really?
Yes.
Who's the 14?
It's in the Bag Fries region. It was Slotchke's Deli. Have you ever been to a Slotchke's?
I don't think so.
They're not really around anymore. Peter, do you know of Slotchke's?
I've been to one like a decade or more ago. Yeah, there used to be one in Willoughby.
Yeah, where
now it's a Starbucks.
Yeah. And it was
that's your number 1.
Yeah,
that's your winner.
Yes, because growing up, Slotchke's was the place to go. Like my family would go there all the time.
Okay,
and it's I'm probably the only one that will even fully remember Slotchke's.
What a Cinderella story right there. A 14 seed winning it all.
Yeah, I mean, I had to have some fun with it.
Who did they face in the first round?
Let's see here. The 3 seed there, Popeyes.
Oh my God, I had the Popeyes chicken sandwich for the first time.
Did you?
The other day.
How was it?
Amazing.
Is it?
Literally melts in your mouth.
Does it?
I couldn't believe it. I'm driving up and I see the Popeyes billboard and I was like, you know what? If I see a Popeyes, anytime soon, I'm going to stop in and get it. Literally pulled up and then it's like sitting right there at the corner. I go, it was meant to happen. So just rolled in. Just fantastic. That chicken sandwich literally melts in your mouth. It's perfect.
Yeah, and I'm a big chicken guy. It was just Slotchke's just holds like a special place in my heart. So like that one had to come out of there. I mean, you have of course some number 1 seeds that they picked here were Wendy's, Five Guys, McDonald's, and Chick-fil-A. Those were the 4 1 seeds in there. I mean, this would be fun to kind of just go through, just looking out there. I mean, the Disney movies, we went through that one as well.
Yep.
However, we want to watch all 64 movies and then go
Okay.
back through it again.
Sure.
So we did it based on what we remember from the movies, then going back through, and I know that you picked Lion King because that was the number 1 seed. I actually did it 2 ways. I did it with Lion King and kind of without Lion King. And with Lion King, it was like Toy Story versus Lion King.
Yeah.
I'm a big Pixar guy, though.
Okay.
So I love Toy Story.
Yeah.
I mean, so
Fantastic movie.
so-
Those are my top 2 seeds.
Yeah.
Toy Story, Lion King.
So I went Toy Story.
Can't go wrong with either.
I went Toy
really
Story and
can't.
Lion King. What I thought was unfair was a Goofy movie being a 5 seed in that same region with Lion King, because for me, Goofy movie is like an underrated.
It is an underrated
great-
movie, but it doesn't compare to The Lion King.
So like
Did it get screwed? Yeah. Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
So I put like Lion King like out just so that I could kind of give a little bit of a
Goofy
fairness
movie up.
to the Goofy
Yeah.
movie, just like as like a fun second wave of doing the
Sure.
bracket. It was still, I think it ended up being Goofy movie versus Toy Story.
Yeah.
I just went Goofy movie because
Fair enough.
Powerline, man. I mean, come
Oh,
on.
great. Yeah, no, fantastic movie. I love Goofy
Yeah.
movie.
Now, I mean, I know you've been spending some time making some cake and
So okay, so we're
Well,
gonna wrap this up right here
Yeah.
real quick. Okay, so I'm getting a lot of crap from a lot of people that don't know what good what
I'm actually not
good
going to give you
tastes
as much crap as you think.
like. You're not.
No, I had to do that
Really?
last night.
Okay, here we go.
We'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. Real quick. So a lot of people are giving me crap because my wife ended up baking a cake last night, and just for because she loves me, so she made a cake, which was awesome. She makes the cake, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna need some milk, and she like looks at me like, what? Why do you need? I put the cake into a bowl.
Was this the first time she'd seen you do this?
She forgets every time that I do it. She
Okay.
forgets. Now it's not like if I'm going to
Repressed
a kid,
memory is what it is.
right. If I go to a kid's birthday party or something and they only have cake and like okay, yeah, I'll eat cake however cake is made. I don't care. I will eat cake no matter what. But if I'm at my own house and I have my own cake, I throw it in a bowl. Okay, put a little piece of cake in a bowl. Put a little bit of milk. Okay, just like that.
Yeah.
Stir it all up, mix it all up. It looks bad. It looks nasty.
It
I will
did.
give you
Yeah,
that.
It
yeah,
did.
It looks nasty. It looks like
Especially with the full piece, her full piece
Right.
next to your bowl,
which
was disgusting.
It looks nasty. I will give you that. And, I get it. But that mush tastes so good. It is ridiculously good, people. Don't give me crap if you haven't tried it. And everybody that was like, oh, so you mix like your ice cream with your cake? Absolutely. What's the difference? One is 32 degrees and one is chilled. I don't understand what the difference is. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
Mix it all up and just eat it and it's perfect.
I mean, I used to with ice cream.
Stop messing with me, people.
When I could actually eat dairy, which I can't anymore.
True.
I'm trying to find like the vegan type ice creams and stuff to try to have some more fun during the summer. But when I used to eat ice cream, like I used to like melt it down, like swirl around, melt so you could drink it almost like your own
Thank
milkshake.
you.
But also, the reason I'm not going to give you as much crap is because when I was a kid, instead of cereal, we used to have graham crackers in the house. We used to have the honey, the cinnamon,
Ooh, yeah.
and the chocolate, and I'd break them up, and I'd make that into my cereal and kind of pour milk over them and let it. It would end up being mush,
It's like
2
golden
minutes in.
grams. I mean, really.
Yeah, like just like
All right.
mush up and like eat
Thank
that. And
you.
it looked disgusting in the bowl,
But it tastes so
it tastes so good. So
Thank you.
I can see it.
Thank you.
It's a little weird.
Yeah.
I will give you that.
I
It is a
kept
little weird.
saying to everyone,
but
I know I'm in the minority.
Yeah,
I know that.
Here's the thing: is you probably aren't as much as you think. I mean, because me eating ice cream when I was a kid, especially the hard ice cream,
Yeah.
I would mix it up so it was like more like a soft serve.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if we had cake with the ice cream, when
put it together,
when the ice
it's-
cream melted into the cake,
Yeah.
it's pretty good. So
Thank you.
I
Thank
gave
you.
I gave you some crap last night on Facebook.
I
mean,
not a lot,
I
but
appreciate you guys like understanding. People
Yeah.
were coming out after me. Like people were like, "Oh my god! Like I hope you can fight." Like, like I understand. You guys don't understand what it's all about, but I'm telling you, give it a shot. One try. Give it a shot. If you like it, great. If you don't, come at me then. But until you try it,
Now,
that's what it is.
remember, Voice of the Land. We give reality checks on
oh,
here.
that's a reality. That's a dose of reality right
so
there.
I'll leave you with this. Now you're gonna have to think about: are Peter and I just playing up, just
Ooh.
giving ourselves a reality check and kind of like being more understanding about it?
Yeah.
Or was last night giving you crap on Facebook? Was that being played up or was that real? Which one is real?
See, now my mind's all messed up.
Yeah.
Now I'm going.
It's like Inception.
Yeah. I think
Where's the top? Where's the top? I need.
I think messing with Paulus's mind is a good way to end this podcast episode this week. We appreciate and thank everybody that does tune in. For those listening on CuyahogaValleyRadio.com, hopefully you enjoy the rest of your Saturday afternoon. Of course, as always, you can always find the podcast Google, Spotify, Apple, and Voice of the Land podcast on YouTube throughout the week. But for Nick Paulus, for Peter Tellup, I'm Kevin Arnold telling all of you sports fans out there and everyone around the world, don't let anyone ever tell you it's just a game. And in this time of crisis, we truly mean we love you all 3,000. We will see you all next week or whenever we can.